Hello my friends, it is your brother Hampton from Hybrid Calisthenics. Today's video is going to feature a clip from a podcast I did with Daniel from FitnessFAQs. Now Daniel's a good friend of mine and we had a great discussion, and one of the things we focused on was the question that we both get, which is, can we build muscle with calisthenics? Can we build muscle with bodyweight exercise? And the answer is definitely yes, and I get this question a ton. But it's not something I make a lot of content for because building muscle is not a personal focus of mine, so I don't make as much content about that. Daniel, on the other hand, has built a great physique with calisthenics. He does specialize in that, and he does specialize in teaching others how to do that. And in this clip, we really delve into the specifics on how to build muscle with bodyweight exercise. We talk about diet, we talk about set numbers, we talk about rep numbers, we talk about what exercises to do. I kind of grill him a little bit on the specifics of that, so I want to thank him for his patience in dealing with me, but I hope the clip can be very useful to those of you who are interested in this subject. Now, I try to include the most pertinent information into this YouTube video, but obviously the full podcast is going to have more information. I will link that below. Daniel is also a great guy. He's very nice. A lot of the things that people like about this channel, where I am friendly and try to create accessible, understandable information, is also available in Daniel's channel. It's FitnessFAQs on YouTube, Instagram, and related social media. Please check it out. He's a great guy. He has some programs, and he has some excellent content as well. I hope you enjoy the podcast.
You look on, say, the internet, you've got Reddit, Bodyweight Fitness, just general YouTube videos for calisthenics. There tends to be this underlying thing that people are only training for function. I'm doing bodyweight training because I just want to move well and be strong.
Right.
But I don't think people are 100% honest. I think if people were more genuine, I think they want the muscle. More people would be saying that. Yeah. But I think there's this stigma in bodyweight fitness that you can't look good as well. So what I'm trying to preach is that, in a way, you can have your cake and eat it too. You can have a good physique, you can move well, and you can also be strong. Of course, you're not going to be specialized in all of those domains at once. But I mean, for the average person, you can get to a tremendous level. So I'd say that if we bring it back to my main passion, it's that hypertrophy and building muscle by bodyweight aspect.
Right. Well, and just because I know if anyone's listening to this and they follow me, I don't know where this will be posted. You know, there's kind of like a theme around me to where I don't really care about muscle as much, but I want to emphasize now, just in case let's let it be known, there's nothing wrong with building muscle, and it's good. It's good. You know, like obviously, you know, there's like the high end when some people are really hurting themselves and taking all kinds of things to build muscle. Building muscle is good. I mean, I have absolutely nothing against it, but there is this thought. And I think this is a great topic for us to address, where people have this question still nowadays: can you build muscle with calisthenics? What's your take on that?
100%. 100%. I mean, the body can't really discern the difference between mechanical tension produced from the muscles, whether it's from the resistance of your own body weight or through external means such as bands, machines, free weights, barbells, etc. Now, the thing is unfortunately on the internet and just society at large, we're very big on black and white. You can do it, you can't do it. And of course, I'm not going to stand here on my high horse saying that building muscle with calisthenics is superior. There's a lot of gaps within it concerning certain things with isolation, different parts. It's definitely more efficient to use weights. But I mean, you can build a tremendous physique with just a pull-up bar, a dip bar, and probably some rings as well, because you can overload all the major movement patterns, be it vertical and horizontal pulling and pushing, and you can definitely tweak your routine to start isolating some of those weak spots too.
Now, just to clarify, because some people perked up when you said that, by tremendous physique, can you elaborate a little bit into details? I mean, high definition, good muscle mass. How about this? A number. How much muscle do you think you put on in terms of like weight with calisthenics alone?
When I first started, I was approximately 74 kilos. And if people go back to my channel, you can see me in the early days in my parents' house in the living room doing planches and stuff, just starting out very, very thin. Haven't built much muscle at that point.
It's 165 pounds for people who are curious, around that.
Yeah, around ish, if your maths is on point. And these days, floating around 83 and a half kilos, plus or minus a kilo, give or take.
Right, and you make it look good, so you can certainly build this on. But there's a reason for this belief, and I think it's because a lot of people struggle with calisthenics, and also because there's a lot of calisthenics athletes, and unfortunately, I probably don't help this, that aren't super muscular. So there's this thought that you can't build muscle with calisthenics, and theoretically, yes, we understand. Yes, the body doesn't understand, doesn't care where the resistance is coming from, as long as we're overloading. Where do most people go wrong? Because some people have tried it for a while and they say, well, we can't seem to build muscle with just body weight. In your opinion, where do people go wrong there?
It's definitely the nutrition plus training. So first of all, you've got to accept the fact that to build muscle, especially as a natural athlete, you're going to have to be on a calorie surplus. It doesn't mean you have to go and gain massive amounts of weight in a short amount of time, but over the months, you should definitely be trending upwards in terms of your overall body weight, just to allow that anabolic environment for your body to actually, synthesize the growth of tissue, etc. And probably the biggest takeaway for people, Hampton, is the training, because in the world of bodyweight fitness, we fall into the trap of wanting to do everything at once. So we want to get the skills, we want to learn the balance moves like handstand, but then we also want to do some strength stuff, and we also want to maybe try and build a bit of muscle as well. When it comes to, if your only objective is to build muscle, you've got to be doing some high volume. And if you watch anyone in the calisthenics and street workout space that has a respectable physique, they are doing, if they're only doing bodyweight exercises, the volume's through the roof. They're doing tons of sets, tons of repetitions, particularly close to muscular failure, because that's what has been shown in the research to be a good catalyst for muscle growth. So most people are falling short because they're not doing enough work, especially close to muscle failure. And that'd be the main thing, Hampton.
Now you say high volume. Can you put a number on that?
It's very difficult to give without knowing someone's individual situation, because, as you know, everyone can handle and respond to different amounts of work. It's something like the nutrition that you want to build up to over time. So you don't go from extreme example of not training to doing like 6 workouts a week and just a failure, because you can improve on less as a beginner to intermediate. You only want to start increasing the demand on your body when it is required to spark growth and you've actually been progressing.
Fair enough. That makes absolute sense. And as we're choosing the progression in which to go to failure, because some people are going to take action on this advice. They say, well, Daniel said to go to failure. Would you say there's a certain rep range they should aim for? Because it's also possible to fail on 1 rep, right? Like if you choose a very hard exercise, you do it once, you're like, well, I went to failure. And you're like, well, why am I not growing? So is there a certain rep range that you think they should aim for? I know it's hard because it's different for everyone.
Of course. And just a caveat before I continue, I didn't say go to failure on everything. I said go near to failure, because I think most people discount how close they actually are to failure. It's very difficult, say, just use the push-up as an example, to go to genuine muscular failure. How many people are really doing that? It takes serious effort too. So that's why that near failure is a good prescription, because you know that you're working at the edge of your limits. But to answer your question, that's a good point. You wouldn't want to be doing failure on anything in terms of rep ranges, with a higher volume approach for calisthenics to build muscle, stick to above 6 repetitions.
Above 6.
So going less than that, you start to be training it, it's predominantly training your nervous system, as opposed to putting a good blend of tension on the muscles relative to the reps that you're doing. So especially for compound stuff, your chin-ups and dips and pull-ups and stuff, go above 6 reps. If you're doing more than, say, 30, it's probably a bit too much, and it's bordering on the endurance side of things. So this is where if your goal is to build muscle with calisthenics, you would not be afraid to add load to your body so that you're being challenged within the 6 to top 30 rep range.
Okay, so anywhere, that's quite a wide range, but anywhere from 6 to 30, you think that's in the muscle building range?
Of course, and a good prescription people can take away is, say for your big compound multi-joint movements, 6 to 12 to 15 is pretty good. But for, say, more isolation-based movements, you can go from anywhere from 8 plus, definitely.
Great. This is one of the reasons why I like talking with you, because you're knowledgeable on fitness, and that's why I keep pushing the specifics. Certainly not to make you uncomfortable, but because I know you have a good answer and can help people with this. So I appreciate that. Now, in calisthenics, there's this recurring thing that we talk about, and I'd love to get your take on this, where we mention compound movements. Why are compound movements good? Daniel from FAQs.
Yeah, put me on the spot. No, of course. Multi-joint movements are great because they train multiple muscle groups at once, but more importantly, they have a large scope for progression. So we'll give you two examples. So the dip is a compound movement that's training your upper body pushing muscles, and it has a lot of potential for improvement. You can essentially keep going heavier with the loads and remain challenged for life. As long as if your dip belt is capable of handling the weight as you get stronger, you'll be fine. So it's got a long-term progression potential, which is excellent for both hypertrophy and also strength. On the other hand, you've got your isolation movements, which are great for targeting specific muscle groups that you want to bring up. So say your biceps, but you're not going to be able to go as heavy on a bicep curl movement as you would on a multi-joint movement. That's why if you speak to most fitness experts, and this tends to be true for universally for both strength and muscle building, we tend to start with our compound movements first because they have the most room to improve over time, train the most muscle mass, and we tend to finish with the isolation movements to just finish up our workout.
Right. So compound movements, 6 to 30. Let's give some more specifics because I know some people are hungry for this. How many sets? How long do you recommend people rest between sets?
So as we said, 6 to 15, and it's a sliding scale, 6 to 15.
6 to 15, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. 6 to 15 and say 3 to 5 sets as a general approach. And of course, Hampton, it really depends on the intensity of the movement as well. How hard you're training relative to failure depends on how many sets you're doing, etc., and how it fits into the overall routine. But you can't go wrong with that. If in doubt, just really put that effort into fewer sets to start with at the start of your training cycle. The reason I said that is because I don't want people to take away from my message here and being like, okay, high volume is good, I'm going to do millions of sets. But the thing is, if you do too many sets, in your brain, you know you've got to do all this extra stuff and you just go through the motions. So it's finding that sweet spot of I'm doing enough sets to challenge myself, stimulate growth, and improve. It's a fine balance. And in terms of rest periods, enough to feel recovered before your next set, to be able to do your max performance. And for most people with compound movements, this could be 3 to 5 minutes. For isolation movements, because it's less fatiguing, smaller muscle groups involved, you probably get away with 1 to 3 minutes on isolation.
Right. Why are some people muscular but not as strong as some people in certain movements?
So specificity principle relates basically to whatever you do, you get better at it, whether it's a movement pattern, whether it is an intensity range. So if you're someone that's doing, so we spoke about earlier, Hampton, we don't recommend going, if the goal is hypertrophy, less than 6 reps. But if you're someone that is trying to maximize neurological strength, you'd be spending a decent amount of time in the 1 to 5 rep range. So if that is you, you're going to be better at representing strength, whereas the person that is spending more time doing different means will get better at that. So it's probably one of the best fitness principles. You get better at what you do. It's as simple as that. If you want to get better at push-ups, do push-ups. If you want to get better at bench press, do bench press. But what I like about the nature of building muscle is a bigger muscle has the potential to be a stronger muscle. So why I promote people to build their physique, it's not purely for vanity. I mean, we all like to look good. It's a nice part of training to see a visual representation of your progression, but it allows you the options. So in the future, if I wanted to dabble more in the 1 to 5 rep range, I would be in a good position to do so because I have the muscle mass that I can teach how to be specific and adapt to the imposed demands that I put on it.